recap from last time. You guys shadowed the goblins all the way up to Skaven, city in Hammerfell. Yes. Every now and then I have to recheck myself and go, is that correct? So, follow them to Skaven. You are investigating a crown's plot in the city. Or more correctly, it's believed the crowns are plotting something, and it's not known what. Your job is to see if you can figure out what it is. Haken, who led you to the city, or, well, he followed you, because the goblins led you, but he's in the Forebears camp, and believes that they're plotting some sort of revolution. 2d6, 2d10, 2d20. Perfect. Can I get a D Fluffy? Can I get a D Fluffy? Nope. D Fluffy ran away. Aha! I have a D Fluffy. You roll it, and you see what type of Fluffy it is. This one's a Velcro Fluffy. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into it. First slide, Skaven. Remind you guys where you are. Right. So, as you guys are in the inn, Haken, as a merchant, has set up in a little corner that's kind of been dedicated to him and those traveling with him. That includes you, and it includes the quarters in which you guys are staying. At breakfast one day, this would be maybe a day after you guys had arrived, he just waves you over. So, the goblins we followed, they're still up on the hill. I have my people keeping an eye on them. But we need to be making good time, as we're only going to be able to stay here for some time. As such, we should make best use of this time as we can. You guys, to blend in, are mercenaries. I would advise you heading down to the bazaar. See if you can pick up any type of work. Specifically work for the government. They're always have contracts up and about, so that shouldn't be difficult. Turns to Felix. Felix, my son, don't mess this up. We need to keep a low profile. You're a bard, I understand. But please, for all the Nirnroot that exists, behave yourself. With that, he begins shoveling his face full of what appear to be some large eggs of questionable origin, probably from some sort of desert creature. Though the eggs themselves, after being fried, are sprinkled with an abundance of spices, as accords the local culture. Jornir, next to him, just give me a leash for that bard and we'll be fine. Haken just kind of makes like he's considering it. My potat has arrived. You are not allowed to set up a heist until my potat is safely consumed. Otherwise, I am nervous you will be attempting to heist my potat. And yeah, set up heist, that happens in the background. So, your character's doing some coordination with various characters in the background, looking at areas where they could possibly go to acquire a little something. Kara, as Haken breaks the yolk, and the yolk just kind of, little bits of it get into his beard, little bits get into his mustache. Those are not noodles, Haken. This one is disappointed in you. Haken shrugs. You do not yet drink milk. I do not believe we could be disappointed in each other's dining choices. He chuckles. As that conversation indeed slams his mug onto the table. Ah, what about some morning wine? Ah, goblin friend. It is morning, but you know you're more enjoyable when you're drunk. May Freakness purchase fresh gear. Yes, if you want to purchase anything, you are more than welcome to have accomplished that thus far into the day. And as you're heading to the bazaar, you'll have plenty of opportunities to do it. Jornir partaking in the same stuff he had before, a strong scorpion poison wine. Seasoned, distilled, it's still normal alcohol, but gotta get a little bit of the kick. While we are here, Felix finally pipes up. Haken, eyes rolling, not even knowing what's coming, but knowing what's coming. I must ask, you are familiar with the trade. Is there any place I can, network some trade routes? Haken, rolling his eyes. Felix, the trade routes here are controlled under guild, is probably the simplest way of putting it. One such as you will have no luck making inroads. And the trade routes that fancy you, he looks you up and down. I don't believe those trade routes are present here. Jornir starts packing up his canteen, prepping to go. The rest of you start pulling out your gear. Aisha wanders in, silently grabs her food. Armor at full polish, just begins to eat morsels and pack some away for the journey. Felix feigning, I am offended by your accusations, and you will see your wrongful accusations. So conversation abounding, people shopping. You all go forth and begin to adventure into the bazaar. Oh, mission report. We kind of already went through this, but I'll summarize it. Your goal is to pick up some side work here in Skaven. You know the goblins have camped out outside of the city. You're to head into the market, look for mercenary work, and uncover, as much as is possible, any crown plots that are afoot. Who wants to be my guardian? Yes, the goblin does need a guardian, or the goblin gets kicked out. The bazaar itself is a nice walled-in enclosure. Jornir's being with the goblin. Got it. Freakness as well. I'll be there. The shops are all kind of scattered about, but the main area where you guys are focusing your attention is the central square. Notable to you is an armored official standing in the center. Do I have a picture of him? I do. Hey, that's Mournhold. Hush! Shush! No. Wrong. Bad Kartoffel. Not Mournhold. Nuh-uh. I don't believe you. This is in Skaven. A armored official. Just, you can see there's various people looking around, and he's kind of just summing people up. And upon seeing you, just a quick look up and down. Hey, you over there. Yeah, you. Looking for work? We've got mercenary work. Kind that suits you. Simple. Pays well. Just gotta drive off some ruffians. I'm putting together a company. 1 day, tops. 400 gold, you in? I said 400 gold. Are you in? Not knowing that you're in a group. Hey, you there, over there. He begins speaking to the rest of you as your individuals, repeating over and over his sales plot. Freakness and Drindeed wandering over. We're in. Freakness would want the 400 gold. And the goblins just kind of Jornir, the little one and I are in, yes. What sort of ruffians? This one is intrigued, Kara says. Those that have set up shop outside the city. They have property that doesn't belong to them. We are enforcing the rights, and he pulls out a legal document. What about the 500 Hacken promised? You should have already received that. That was received at the end of last session. He pulls out an official writ stamped by the Skaven city government. We are to drive off and apprehend the property of unsanctioned scavengers outside the city. Nothing much, shouldn't be any violence. All I need you guys to do is stand there and look scary. Just enough that we don't have to use the sword, the decision maker, if you know what I mean. Easy money, easy money. Felix, well, sir, maybe we could come to a deal. No bargaining. Minstrels. If you want to play a scary tune, give us some theme music, I guess. Yeah. Overall, it appears to be that this officer has a very low opinion of everyone in the party, yet seems to him that you're able to come to a good working relationship. Freakness uses a hammer? Ah, yes. Hammer and orc. Husband and wife. Bard and prostitute. I understand. I think we would be glad to accompany your request if an extra 50 gold each could easily make for a more adequate job. Minstrel, if you please. The contract, written in ink, is 400. You can take it and get more pay than you've earned in all of your bar hopping, or you can go back to getting drunk. The rest of you, wonderful adventurers. You'll take the deal. He clasps your hand and shakes. Just sign here. He puts forward a piece of paper that just summarizes the contract. There's no fine print or shady language in it. You participate in this 1-day deal. They promise to pay on behalf of the city of Skaven their thanks and 400 gold. Also stating that your spits on his hand and extends it. I'll sign your paper. You seal the deal my way, too. He looks at it, looks at his glove, shakes the hand. yes, and then just kind of reaches his hand behind his back and wipes it on his armor. Your way. He ignores the minstrel. Pay an extra 50 gold and I'll play you a song? He just completely ignores it. Everyone else in. Minstrel, last chance. I'll take the deal. Any materials we get to keep? You do not. Ended the spit on the handshake for all of humanity? Probably. Hopefully. Materials are not yours, but are property of the state. As you guys are signing up, 4 or 5 other mercenaries sign up as well. Your paper, Felix says, doesn't say anything about keeping the gained material. He rolls his eyes. Minstrel, you do not get to keep. The mission is for us to go enforce this order to take it for the state according to the law. You are not to be practicing theft while in the employ of the state. Is that clear? Other mercs look like bizarro versions of us. Maybe. That's primarily just Red Guard mercenaries. It appears that they have a mercenary guard here. So in reality, it's guards that have been signed up for extra duty. A good extra payday clearing out ruffians. A chance to do something normal than stand at the gate and greet visitors. Or stand and watch over the bazaar. They look competent, very well battle-hardened, but all eager for an easy payday. Which all of them have come to conclude that it is. An Urist arrives? Yes. The food is important for the Urist Kite. Here's Farkas running and playing with a toy, so he's probably going to go investigate. Deal signed. You will report in 3 hours. At the gate. We sally forth then. And with that, you see him just kind of look to his list, make some check marks, roll it up, put it in a scroll tube, and walk off. Play song about a rude lawman. Rolls a 10. It's not your greatest work. Really, the character is underdeveloped and could use some fleshing out. Unless anyone had something they wanted to do, which, if you have something you want to do, interrupt me now, unless it's something you can handle off-screen like buying. Otherwise, we'll fast forward 3 hours and have you meeting them at the gate to go drive off ruffians. No cheating? I promise no cheating. Alright, fast forwarding the 3 hours, and you guys are leaving the gates of Skaven. The party, as well as 6 of the city guards. This is a day encounter. It is, yes. Gates of Skaven is the name for the Bard's newest single. So you head out from the Gates of Skaven, and it becomes very clear to you immediately where you are headed. Without swerving, or without diverting attention, the officer is leading you, where's my laser pointer, toward the goblins. It's about a 2-hour walk outside the city. R2-D2 C3PO are there with a bunch of Jawas too. After a couple hours of walking, you've approached the goblins. The instructions that the captain gives is, once we arrive, I will have all of you fan out single file in a fan, lengthwise, so that we might maximize our numbers to discourage the goblins from attacking. We are here not to kill them, specifically not to kill them. For as it is written, should you kill one tribe of goblins, 4 will rise to take their place and seek vengeance. We just want to take their things and send them on their way. I think your strategy and diplomacy is about as smart as the goblins themselves. Goblins are quite clever. I am glad you approve of my diplomacy. As you guys approach, you can see that as he had said diplomacy, he taps a scroll case that's on his hip. As you guys approach the goblins, you can see that the shaman takes up a place back on the hill where he can watch at a distance. The chief, in his glass armor, starts flexing. The other goblins are furtive as their weapons are bared, looking between the chief and the approaching group of humans. Just letting out little cries of frustration or what might be primitive threats. Ahem! Goblins! Don't do that again. By order of the state, You shall surrender your goods to me. I have for you this scroll and this gold as just compensation according to the law. The shaman, upon hearing this scroll, his ears perk up, and while keeping his eyes fixed on the rest of the party, he kind of gestures to one of the scamps to go up and grab it. Just kind of lumbers around, half using his arms as feet, kind of grabs up and grabbing the scroll, and then just skitters back quickly. Returns the scroll, and it's popped open, and the goblin, initially thinking maybe he'd be rising above station, looks at it, turns it sideways, looks at it again, before the shaman just grasps it out of his hands. Little tears around the edge, but that just gives it character. And you can see him kind of mouthing and whispering the words that are being said as he struggles to remember what is the common human speech. Should you wish to roll perception to try to figure out what's being said, or insight to understand what's being said without getting the word-for-word translation, you may roll that now. Kara starts trying to listen, but then gets something about seagulls stuck in her head, where the seagulls won't leave the goblin alone, and it's weird. It's really weird. She doesn't fully understand it, but there's just a little green guy singing. Now, Kartoffel understands that it's in Elvish, but also understands that it's a goblin interpretation of Elvish, so is able to really grab and lock onto the gist. The basic details are able to be attributed to by Kara after she kind of gets the seagulls out of her head, but without understanding the exact words, what you identify is that somehow they identified this scroll as the completion of the mission you knew they were offered, which was they get gold and to restore portions of the quote-unquote Goblin Kingdom in exchange for their stuff, and specifically the Dwemer stuff they were acquiring. The goblins nod. The shaman turns to the chieftain and nods. Chieftain, great deniability. Or, sorry, gotta get out of my lawman voice. Nope, that's Yoda. Great deniability. Yes. Thank you. Our stuff yours. Thank you. And what you see is the goblins kind of underneath this mound polish off some dirt and stuff, and rolling out, there's about 6 or 7 of the Oculus pieces that you guys had seen from various telescopes. Some are Dwemer, others appear to be of human construction, so it would appear that they were not just visiting Dwemer ruins. With everything changing hands, the goblins leave. The captain, we have rightfully disposed of them. The state is pleased. Let us return to the city, where you will be paid amply for your duty, according to your contracts. Moving back, subtle whispers among the party. Felix, to Yornir. That captain, I think he's the traitor we're looking for. Jornir, yes, we can't do anything about it yet. Not now, at least. Felix again. Tonight, maybe we ask this captain a few questions? With a wink, he falls back into line. After everything had been concluded, all of the stuff brought back, you return to Skaven after dark. Upon reaching the gate, the captain just cries out, "Permit entry for the lawmen of Skaven City!" The gates, after a little silence, you hear a click, and then the ringing of chain against metal, and the gate is opened just enough for the party to pass through. Upon passing through, you are returned to the bazaar, where you were each handed your 400 gold, and the mercenaries and the captain quickly run off into an area, leaving you all counting your gold just to make sure you weren't shortchanged. What is your plan for the evening? I immediately spend my 400 gold. Did they get this filling their tum-tums? Yes. As there's discussions, Felix pipes up, we should confront the guard, and while someone should also warn Hacken. Jornir, We can't risk chasing them. In this city, it has eyes everywhere. Or this city, it has eyes everywhere. I can tell you right now, it is not safe for us to try that. Kara, this one will follow the captain and see where he goes. Who all is wanting to depart on a sneaky mission? You will need to roll that stealth, and that is a 23 stealth. Khajiit likes to sneak. Felix says he'll go warn Hacken. Dreamdeed does not want to raise suspicion by following Captain. Dreamdeed will go back to bar. Alright, Freakness Dreamdeed, returning to the bar. I need to know what Jornir is doing. Kara is following. Aisha, I will take action from you as well. Then I think that'll be everybody, as I'm thinking through the list of names we've had. Heading back to the bar? Alright, we will get to those going to the bar first. Then we will get to Kara. Kara disappears into the shadow. Oh, where should our emergency meeting place be for Kara? Starts humming, all by myself. We'll just go meet at the fountain. There you go. Emergency meeting established. As the three of you begin returning to the bar, starting to pass underneath the bridge, out of the shadows, a creature appears. Skin blending with darkness, blade drawn, it draws up a defensive pose and hisses. Let's go ahead and set up combat. Aisha not present, Watt there, Freakness there, Jornir there. Oh, Aisha's patrolling around. We'll put you here as well. Let me sort. Alright, we've got Freakness here, Jornir. Aisha was patrolling, so we're going to delay you by 1 lane.
Hey, thank you.
And then Tim appears at 3 lanes distant. Go to sheet 22 for combat! Yes. I'm going to build an actual combat sheet, but because I'm working on reworking the mechanics, I don't want to build a new sheet that I'm going to immediately tear up. So, Freakness, we are in the repositioning order. What do you want to do? Your opponent appears to be wielding a greatsword. Please call it sheet 22. That might happen. Draw weapon, use intimidate. Stay back, weakling. Go ahead and roll up your intimidate. Jornir, your turn. The Felix has suggested you use your turn to explain yourself. Jornir just kind of whispers, that thing is bad news. That's the thing that murdered my entire family. Is there a torch around? There is basic light, though it appears that the lighting of Skaven is built-in braziers rather than loose torches. Taking actions, Jornir, Aisha, Felix. What do you want? Jornir draws his axe and begins just taking a step forward. Felix just, should I go get Hacken? Kind of smiles, eyes flitting between the creature and Jornir. Draws sword, retreats 1. Alright, Aisha and Dreamdeed. Felix, stop fooling around. Yes, of course you should go get Hacken. As Freakness kind of just sees him putting his body between him and his party member. Draw weapon and move 2 forward. Tim's turn. So, on Tim's turn, Tim uses the action monologue. So he looks at the party approaching him, turns back to Jornir. Ah, my creation. Is this by which I am greeted? You surround yourselves with dogs? Looks Freakness in the eye. And puppies, looks down at Dreamdeed. Have you no respect for what you are? What you could become? But you know, I'll play along. You think you can take me? Let's go around. Let's see how mortal your friends are. With a glint in his teeth, you see him just angle the sword and dance it such that the light from the braziers plays across it. Greetings, Isha. So Tim, weapon drawn, just stays where he is. Freakness, you're up next. I'll take actions from Freakness and Jornir. Are you in heavy armor? Yes, no, maybe. I don't remember. I have the characters. Oh, it's right here. Heavy armor? Alright, so you go forward 1. Jornir, Aisha, Felix. Actions from each. Retreat 3. So burns a point just starting to sprint. Jornir, Aisha, Dreamdeed. What do you think, Farkas? Are you hacking? Are you hacking? Farkas says he wants to roleplay Hacken. Growls at the vampire just to play into the dog insult. We're gonna settle on the floor. I'll move the camera to see you. Steps forward, so you are in the same lane as him, and I'll read off Jornir's response. I am not your creation. I do not belong to you. You took everything away from me. During this, you just see him smiling. The subtle response. Ah, if lightening one's burdens is taking things away, then yes, I am the greatest thief. But no, I have not taken. I have given you what you always needed. Again, he looks at you admiringly. And yes, Pimley is correct. Freakness is a dog, and Drindeed is a puppy. Where's Farkas and Urus? Farkas is up on camera right now. There might have been some delay in me rotating the camera to him. Drindeed, trying to poke this thing and see if it's real. Makes a stab and just effortlessly, with the shift of a leg. Ah, the puppy doth try to bite the god. Aisha, I'll take actions from you. Jornir, you also have an attack should you wish to use it, because your move took you into Tim's lane. Tim just being the generic term we're using for him. Freakness just checking how little neck he's showing in this position. How fast could a bard run if a bard would run fast? Alright, you set up a guard. Alrighty. Exhalalu, merchant bard. My mistake. Alright. Aisha, I'll take actions. We'll catch up to you when you are ready to put those in. The unnamed advance 1. Cool. I'll advance you 2 because you missed your setup phase, which would have allowed you to advance 1 as well. Powerful blow. So the creature turns to Jornir. Behold my gift to you. Just takes his great sword down in an attack. Go ahead and roll up a d20, as I believe that's what guard sets you up with. Yeah, that's gonna be a hit. He strikes at you as if he knows what you're doing. He knows how you will defend yourself. And in doing so, his attack effortlessly bypasses you. And striking directly towards your vital organs, the glass sword makes a connection. And given that he chose to use Vital Strike and Overpower on his attack, with a power attack, that is going to deal, the actual term is metric butt ton of damage. You don't want to play? That's perfectly fine. This is a roleplay game for those who wish to play. Somebody going splat? Yes. 12 points of damage and you're dazed. I'm immune to dazed, but I am staggered. Well, then you're immune to dazed. So, as soon as he hits you, you just get knocked to the ground. Cause he like to sneak, darkest corner we seek. Kara continues humming as she heads on her way. We'll make sure to pull up that song once we're done. I can't do it while we're posting stuff to YouTube. Behold my gift. He gestures to your flesh that already, though not yet as we haven't gotten to your turn, is starting to mend itself. I will take actions from Freakness, Jornir, and Aisha. Advance 1. Got it. Jornir, Aisha. Felix, I'll take a d20 from you. Advance 1 and attack the attacker if possible. So advancing 1 puts you 1 lane away, looking at the map. So if you have an attack that can attack 1 lane away, you're welcome to roll it. 14. As you run, well, we'll get to you once I've cleared up Jornir and Aisha. Then we'll get to you. Burn a stamina to set up a guard 2. Oh, Dragonborn, you never rolled your d10 attack. So you're welcome to roll that, because guard gives you the free attack. 2 staggered by the hit. Your return swing was entirely ineffective. If you have an attack, Aisha, I'll accept it. Jornir still taking actions from you. And Drindeed, action from you as well now. We'll open it up. Then we'll get to Felix. Felix's journey once we're through the entire party actions. Is it possible for me to attack the baddie? Do you have an attack that will go over 1 lane distance? Melee does not cover a lane. You would need a ranged attack. Or a spell attack. So I'm going to need you to declare what attack you're using. Or a spear. That is true. If you had a spear, that works. Because Drindeed has a spear. I think I'm being hollered at. Alright. I'll wait for you to get back before we move on to Kara. I will start skipping actions if I do not hear, because I'm trying to keep this moving. So, Aisha, I need to hear if you have an attack. Drindeed, Your eye's too shiny. Time to fix. Poke, poke. Spear starts swinging in the general direction. Rolled a 19, but I don't know what attack Aisha is doing. Aisha doesn't have a spear, so I need to know if it's a magic attack or if it's a physical attack. So, yep, we're good. Total is let me double check, that to hit, 17 to hit. That is going to hit. How much damage do you do on a spear? 4 points of damage? The gash just goes up alongside his face. Alright, we will move on. You can't attack one lane over, not unless you have a spear or magic. Then delete the attack. Got it. On Tim's turn, the gash, which looks relatively bad, just almost as soon as the spear had sliced through it, like a zipper, it seals back up without leaving a scar. He turns down to you. Wait, Jornir, I never got you. What your action? Oh, you were putting up a guard while you regened. Got it. Oh, you're gonna heal the Nord by 2? Well, there you go. Tim just kind of looks at Aisha's healing you. Really? You accept healing from lessers that my gift would do for you? He steps forward. As he is melded with the shadows, it's almost as if you can't get in his way, and he flits around, moving as he sees fit. Approaching Aisha, your malfeasance will be punished. He swings his sword. Oh, Felix. We'll get to Felix after this. I will need a defense roll from Aisha when you are ready, because you've got your shield raised, which is going to give you a d20 defense. While we wait on that, so Felix, you start running around. All right, I just got to go get hacking. Then all of a sudden you hear, "Hey, you, what's with the running?" And a pair of guards set up in front of you, moving to stop your progress. You're going to need to interact with them to progress further. What is it you were going to say or do to interact with them? A 26? The defense shield goes up, but the expert swordsmanship of your opponent and the useless dice holdingness of the DM, throws his dice on the floor, but the expert swordsmanship of the opponent, you think you've made the block, when really all he did is he connected with the top of his crossbar to your shield, which he then uses to roll your shield down. Unprepared, he then strikes with exceeding amounts of power, using your shield as a lever to force the sword into your neck area. You take 10 points of damage and are dazed. Do note, he is not choosing to infect anyone. As such, you are staggered but not infected. D20 Persuasion. Well, you see, my friends are in need of assistance. I need to get help before they are hurt. Is there an issue? Where should we go? Where is the issue? The guards look ready to let you go, but also look ready to respond. So they're asking, what is the issue? Where is the issue? And they are ready to depart. What kind of roll did he get? A 19 on the die. Add in his attack modifier. There's a fight back that way. A foul beast is causing great harm. Be wary. It looks quite dangerous.
Hey.
Understood.
Thank you.
The remainder of the party, you just start hearing as they're ringing a bell, running through the streets, yelling, "Guards, guards, to arms, a beast is in our midst." Hearing that, what's his attack modifier? That remains to be seen, Aisha. Back in party order. Freakness, Jornir, Aisha. I will take actions. Freakness step, or just using a power attack in lane. 20 to hit. 4 damage if hit. He turns at the last second. Means to bring up his sword to parry, but it's not quite enough, and the hammer just takes his shoulder and bashes it in, dealing the 4 points of damage. And then using the extra stamina, you go from that immediately to a guard position. Jornir, Aisha? Aisha's drinking a potion that brings me up to full health. That is your move. You may still attack or take an action. Stand down, foul demon, Freakness growls. Malekith commands you. Steps in front of Aisha and takes a swing. rolls a 2. Again, takes a swing, which effortlessly, like, the guy's just like, I didn't move. I didn't even need to move. You just missed. You just missed. But turning back, really? You don't even understand. You don't understand anything. But you will. Oh, you will. Aisha swinging with the sword, also hopelessly off target, as the shadows that he is flitting between are drawing attention and the slicing at darkness. You fail to comprehend what you are. Can I reroll? Only if you have your whatchamacallit maxed out. Only if you have the 9 divines up to 7 can you reroll. Indeed, you are the last here. Then Felix, I'll take another d20 roll from you. Only have to get a 6 or higher. Stabbing downward, try to pin his foot. The clanking against the sidewalk as you try to cut off his retreat. And stab his foot, no effect. The d20s have commanded you are not allowed to roll over a 5 as a party unless you're Freakness. Freakness too good. So Kartoffel, slightly breathless and catching his breath from running, runs into the inn, just shouting Hakon's name. Yes, Felix? What can I do? He seems nervous that he's only seeing the bard, yet the bard running means there could really be a lot of things going on here. Party gone bad? Apprentice in restoration, Aisha? What are you seeking to do? We have trouble, Felix gasps. They're being attacked by foul beasts. The guards have been alerted. We need assistance. He nods to his men, who quickly scramble to grab their weapons and their medium armor, shields, and are on their way. Lead the way, Felix. Hakon and men begin their armored trek through the city. Can I retake my action from sword swing to something else? Not once you've already done it and rolled the dice and see that you've missed. However, in the future, yes, you are welcome to use those. But given that you've already missed, we can't have you re-roll. And if you were to re-attack, you'd be attacking with magicka and you'd just be burning the magicka, so it's kind of best you just leave it as is. Because if we were to retcon it, you'd just burn the magicka and then still miss, because we wouldn't change the roll. Tim's shoulder snaps back up into position, healing entirely the damage done by the hammer. Tim just smiles at Jornir, a kind of condescending smile. My child, your rebellion will come to a close. Soon I will have a position that will benefit both of us. When that time comes, I'll be back. He disappears. You guys hear the pounding of guards' feet approaching. What do you wish to do? Freakness, you're a wimp. Distant chuckles seem to respond, but there is no direct response. Keep swinging in the general direction of where he was. Begone, foul beast! Freakness points to the north. There's our beast. Within a short amount of time, very quickly the area you are in is cordoned off by guards, all armed and at the ready. They look at you. We were told there was a fight. It's a joke. I don't want Jornir to be killed by the guards. Got it. And exclaim, Drindeed has scared away the spirit. The guards, seeing weapons drawn and seeing blood on 2 of the weapons, Freaknesses and Drindeeds, as well as excessive bloodiness of Jornir and Aisha. What's going on here? What's the meaning of this? And put your weapons down for the sake of the divines. Seeing Aisha and recognizing her by her Mara heraldry, a healer is immediately brought forward who heals her up to full. The monster escaped. A vampire. You think there's a vampire here? The cleric says as the cleric casts Detect Undead. At which point, Jornir lights up. The guards immediately, weapons drawn. Vampire, we command you. Weapon down. I have done nothing to harm these 2. Upon a quick look, they notice that you are wielding a hammer and that the weapons appear to have been done by a sword. They nod. It's not him. They look at you with confusion. This is a vampire. They're not legal. Around the city, you can hear the guards saying vampire and Detect Undead just being cast by the various clerics who accompany the guard, looking for invisible vampires behind any corner Toss his axe in front of me. It's a losing battle to try to explain myself. Do what you must. Spirit is gone. All is good. You go back now, guards. They look at the goblin with kind of disgust, but see that you guys are here and just kind of accept him. The Nord was attacked by a vampire and thus passed on the affliction. If that is truly the case, there will be a trial next session. And there will be a chance for you to prove his innocence. Being a vampire is no mild accusation. And, as is the case in Skaven, a good many things, looking Jornir dead in the eye, can be solved with fire. Do I get to be his lawyer? You may choose to be his lawyer. Hakon arrives with you in time to hear that statement. The public need not be alerted. Let us have that trial. They nod. A private trial, we agree, will be best. Tomorrow we will have him in front of the military tribunal. Until then, they motion for you to follow, for Jornir to follow them. They'll be escorting you to prison. Not the dungeon, mind you. Prison. Specifically holding cells for trial. Hakon just kind of lets out a... Oh boy. Trial of the Chicago 7 movie? That could be interesting to watch. What just happened? Drindeed looks at him leaving. Someone needs to explain racism to the goblin. I don't know if you can see Farkas' tail. You getting scritches? You getting scritches? He's skittering. The question is not the wounds, the captain explains to you, Aisha. The question is his nature. He's not being put on trial for the incident. He is being put on trial for being a vampire. You serve Mara, the cleric who is also a cleric of Mara. Redguard cleric of Mara, but nonetheless a cleric of Mara. How do you not understand this? He worships a Daedra. Before catching herself, given what you guys had said, it is likely he worships a Daedra. But with that said, you all are returned to the tavern. Less Jornir, 400 gold richer for the day, but tomorrow we attend the trial of the vampire Jornir. Hakon explains really what I've kind of hinted at thus far, that this is a trial for his life, one that he's certain you guys can win. He actually is looking to you, Felix, for you to use your persuasive skills for his defense. Where is Kara? We're going to be getting to Kara. Don't worry about Kara. I haven't forgotten. We've got about 15 minutes here at the end that I can get her in. Or tomorrow I'm going to either be burnt at the stake or in debt to Felix. Yep. Next week, but yes. We had kind of gone on through the final chapter I was going to do after Kara, but I wanted to confirm she was back before I started trying to talk to her while she was getting hollered at. So, all of this has not occurred yet. We rewind time backwards and backwards. And a Khajiit likes to sneak. Departing from the party with all due haste, she follows a certain captain. He goes, and I remember your sneak, so we're good. You are sneaking. In the shadows, she watches him go to a tavern, spend some money, joking with the guard. Nothing of interest is said. And then it isn't long before he and two other guards depart and go to an abandoned house in the slums. In that abandoned house in the slums, voices and murmuring can be heard from within. I am going to need another stealth check should you wish to approach the house to eavesdrop in on whatever conversation is occurring. Though it is clear through the voices that they met someone there. The Khajiit is like, this one will be sneaky. And as immediately as she takes a step, her gold sack had not been secured. The sack of gold drops to the ground, making for the clink of coin in the alleyway. What do you wish to do? And I do see your comment, Aisha. We'll get to that once we're done with Kara, per your request. If you attempt to hide, you will not be reclaiming the gold that has spilled. You estimate it to be about 100 gold that is spilled. Alternatively, you could basically break off running, just grab the gold and run, and end the encounter. Goes to hide again. So just kind of scooting behind a barrel. The Khajiit is hidden. Separate roll. Stepping out, the guards the two guards, and their eyes try to focus, but their perception isn't high enough to see the gold on the ground. They look, and they just kind of hushed whispers, "It's like I said. There seems to be some well-paid people in this area. The mercenaries, the goblins, they seemed to know each other, and that's not good. We'll need to look for an opportunity that will present itself to get rid of them or to get information on them. I don't like that they're here. Regardless, we should be on our way." As they start kind of getting together and sneak off, that is when you start hearing the clanging. "Guards, guards, guards! A foul beast is running amok!" And at that, the entire party goes in the opposite direction as fast as they can, heading back toward the district that is the government district. Kara, reclaiming her gold, then returns to meet with the party and is brought up to speed on the events. Inside the tavern, or on the way back to the tavern, Aisha in communing with the other sister of Mara. Not all vampires worship the Daedra's sister, and one nature does not describe him. It is their actions and deeds which describe them. The sister shakes their head. When one was created as a tool of heresy and as pain and suffering to the world, the greatest deed one could do in such a position is to forsake it, either through healing or, if necessary, through the end of the unlife. After some discussion, it becomes apparent she is not going to be swayed from her view. Felix feels the disturbance of gold being dropped in the distance. It's why he actually started running. I'll go ahead and end the recording here because, yeah, it's going to be the end of the session. We have the setup, and hopefully next week we will bring it to an adequate continuation.